Just over 6 months ago, I had a hair transplant. The comment section has been filled with the progress of it. And yesterday, finally, now that COVID lockdowns are starting to shift, I was able to visit my doctor and see exactly how it's going, up close and personal. And of course, I'm about to have it all shaved off because this is not the end of the story. Let's do the update. As you can see, I have the green screen off so you can see it fully. And I want to be thankful to how many of you are like, that looks awesome. That came out super well. Yes, I'm very happy with how it came out after the first one. But we are having two done because this is kind of a lie. I could look face on at a camera and it looks totally fine. But the reality is, there's a big old bit in the back that still needs doing, as you can see there. So we still have this going on. Now, I had a lot of Zoom calls with my doctor over the 6 months who was checking up on it with a phone camera. Not ideal, but yesterday I got to go into Manchester city centre, actually stand with him and have the assessment done of what we want to do, and more importantly, what don't we like? Because it's not perfect by any means, and this was always the plan, was to do it in 2 stages. So I had a choice, if you remember from way back when, that I could have had my first bit done and then almost like a couple of weeks later, I could have had the back done and done it all in one big go. And that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was to have the front done, then wait. And the guy said like 6 months until we really start to see how it's taking shape. Then we can sort out what we want to do with the rest of it so we can get it exactly as we want it. Now, I am happy with what we've got, but definitely some missed bits. Overall, I got 90+% of my hair transplant that took place worked. 90+%. That is really, really good. That is in the very upper high echelon for our World of Warcraft fans out there. That is a 90th percentile. We're happy with that. They expect anything above 80 to be considered good. 90 is fantastic. So what it does mean is the hair on the back of my head and the sides, which is what is now on top of my head, is good. Really healthy, really good stuff, and therefore we're happy with this. But it's not perfect by any means. It's still relatively thin. You see, if I move it around, there's still a thinness there. Yeah, you can't see it when talking to me, but if I move it around and like manipulate it to try and show you, you can see there is still thinness there. You can see there, right? There is still a thinness to it. So, we got to sit down, and I'll talk about how it feels and stuff later on, but we got to sit down and decide, what do we want to do next? What is the next maneuver? Well, I felt personally what I want to have happen next, and this is going to be happening on July 6th, which means I'm going to have to shave all of it off. So I'm definitely going to have to deal with a lot of comments like, what happened to your hair? Because they're going to shave it all off. So what I want is everything that happened here, I'm more than happy with that happening at the back. This is thick enough for me. It looks fine. Like, nobody cares about it at all. They're all like, yeah, it looks great. So I'm going to have this done at the back, and I'm going to have this bit thickened out a little bit. But only a little bit, because this is actually fine. I'm more than happy with how this came out, but we're going to do that. We're going to do exactly what we did on the top here at the front, and there's some images there of what it looked like previously, and have that done on the back, and then thicken this bit out a little bit. There was a slight issue that Emma noticed where this bit didn't take right in this corner, but you guys remember, I didn't even have this hairline when I was younger. Like, my hair has always been a sort of Dracula shape, but it's not now. So they're going to try and even it out a little bit, like with 1 or 2 things. My next procedure is going to be bigger than the first one, only slightly. It's going to be 3,500 hairs that are going to be moved off the back and the sides, and they're going to use more of the side in order to make sure the back is fine. So if I can show you the back, see, all looks fine. This is where they took the hair from. Actually looks totally fine. No issues there whatsoever. It doesn't look thin or anything. But they are going to take a lot more out of there, so there may be slight thinning there, but nothing awkward. How does it feel? It feels a little different than what your ordinary hair would be on top of your head, for those of you who've been asking that. It's only very slightly, but you can tell. Like, if you feel the back and sides of your hair, it feels a little different to what's on top. So obviously I have back and sides hair on top now, so that feels a little different. It feels a little drier than ordinary, but you can do whatever you want with it. I haven't touched this at all, like at all. I've not cut it a single time. And to be really importantly, this is halfway through what this will eventually be, which is something the doctor was very, very insistent on letting me know when I was saying, hey, you can still see like thinness there. So can we just thicken that out? That's all I was asking. And he was like, you need to trust here. You're only halfway through. It takes like a year, if not longer, to see the full thing happen. you need to bear in mind and trust the process a little bit. We're happy to thicken some of it out, but honestly, it's going to get thicker and thicker over the next like 7 to 8 months, and you don't want to end up with it being weird, right? So he's like, where you are right now is fantastic. You're exactly where you need to be. You've done super, super well. All the horrors we went through with not sleeping for those first 4 days, as I told you guys, the first 4 days are the hardest part of this whole process. That bit was the important bit, where you're spritzing every 20 minutes. You can only sleep for like a couple of hours, then you have to wake up and keep it moist and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to have to do that again. And that's the only bit I'm not looking forward to. And still to this day, people ask me, like, does it hurt and things like that? No, didn't hurt. It was just really boring. It takes all day. It's just a long, arduous process of being bored while other people just piss about with your head. And you just wait for them to be finished, and it takes all day. So that's what I'm going to be doing again. But overall, I'm really happy with it. As you can see, like from a conversational point of view especially, it's totally over the moon with it. Couldn't be happier with it. Did not come out looking weird. Didn't come out looking like a chia pet. Didn't come out looking like some sort of like, it didn't look obvious. What you could do, you can absolutely, and you're never going to get away from this, if you like zoom in really close. So if when my wife checks it and she comes really, really close, she's like, okay, I can kind of see something, but you do have to be doing that level of inspection in order to see what's going on. It's definitely much better than what we saw a few years ago, where it was like big gaps in between it and stuff like that. They did a really good job. So that's where we're at right now. Obviously, it's a bit of a scam when you see in videos, because I can stand like this, everything looks fine, but you can see there's that there. But this is exactly as intended. What I'm really hoping to do is get the procedure done. July 6th is when I'll be having it done. And then 6 months after that, it should be pretty much where I am now, should be everywhere, and that should be the golden standard of it. Are there any drawbacks that I've had so far? I think that's important to talk about. Only just the waiting for it to kind of grow. And the unexpected nature of the after process. Because although they kind of describe it to you, until you experience it, it's awkward to really say what it's like. It's months, right? It takes months and months and months. But every day you just notice it's a bit better. A little bit better, and you'll go a week or something without thinking about it, and then you'll check it, you'll be like, oh, that's actually looking much better now. And you have worries. Certainly immediately after, I had a lot of worries about like, I don't know, man, it kind of looks iffy, kind of looks strange, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I had fun with it, but it's a long process, right? It's got to be another, after July 6th, it'll be another 6 or 7 months before it's kind of where I want it to be, and I'm probably not being asked about it at all. As it is right now, all I could say is it's definitely something that has changed people's opinions of it, which has been great to see. There was a lot of people even in my real life were like, this is going to look a little bit odd, right? Because they'd seen the horror stories, but since then it's been like, no, that was incredible. That looks really, really good. So very, very happy, very happy. Looking forward to have the whole thing done. And just being done with it, really, because it's, like I say, it's really boring and it just takes ages. And I'm going to have to shave my head again. So that's going to be a whole thing we have to deal with. But that's where we're at after 7 months. So yeah, you can see that. I want to be completely clear with you. You can see it's a little thinner, right? It's like a weird tuft here, right there. You can see exactly where they started was like there to make all this, to make all that happen. So perfectly bald there. So let's remember this screenshot, right? Let's remember this and then see what comes out of this in 7 months' time to see exactly what it looks like. And then we'll probably get the final picture of this. But for everybody who's been asking, I hope that answers your questions. If you do have more questions that I maybe haven't answered here, hit me down below. All right? Be good, guys. I'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.